Hey, welcome to Film vs. Movie, the podcast where we debate the cinema you hate. I'm your co-host, Belton Delane Facey.
And my name's Chris Scher.
And on this podcast, we watch the films that have been slandered, desecrated, and shot with CGI torpedoes by public opinion. And one of us tells you why it's actually pretty good.
And the other one's going to tell you why it's a sinking ship.
And today, we're debating USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage.
It didn't need the colon. I feel like USS Indianapolis is fine.
I feel like USS Indianapolis, the whole title is just too many syllables. If we're getting rid of one part, I say keep Men of Courage. At this point, there are so many World War II movies. Most of them have generic titles anyway.
What about Men of Courage, Blood in the Water, Sharks Mean Business?
I actually feel like that would describe the movie a lot better than the actual title.
With Nic Cage.
Honestly, I feel like every Nic Cage movie should just be subtitled with Nic Cage, just to truly advertise the essence.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you could sneak Nic Cage into a movie. I think if I saw a movie and then I was like, whoa, Nicolas Cage, it would be the focus of what was going on. I need to be tempered into it if I'm going to pay attention.
Yeah. Cause I'm trying to think. I feel like the only movie I can think of where Nic Cage sort of just blended in was Kick-Ass. I feel like that was also trying to be over the top at the time. It's just yeah, of course Nic Cage is in this.
You know where he blends in? Face Off. No. When he's got John Travolta's face on, you can barely tell it's him.
All right, but this movie is based on the true story of a World War II naval cruiser that was sunk, leaving the survivors stranded at sea for 5 days.
It had just delivered the Hiroshima bomb, Little Man.
Yes, I believe it was parts necessary for the bomb. I wasn't sure if it was the bomb itself.
I don't know either. They didn't say that. I'm pretty sure the Wikipedia article says they delivered the bomb, they delivered what was needed to at least explode the bomb. I thought they delivered the casing too.
Yeah, basically the bomb was not going to go off without them.
Yeah.
All right. So getting into the plot of this, it opens up with the life of the sailors we're going to follow throughout the film. So as two guys in a love triangle, one guy is a gambling addict. Captain Charles B. McVeigh III, he just has a wife. That's really all we know about him.
Yeah, he's a classic Navy guy. Where he's married to the job. He's always been in the Navy.
Yeah. It's almost like I could imagine Nic Cage asked, oh, what's my character's backstory? And the director just said, you're in the Navy. Got it.
Was the whole thing written as his suicide letter? I guess I'm spoilers to this thing we're spoiling. But.
No, I don't think so, because at the beginning it shows him talking to a picture of his wife. I interpreted that as sort of the classic thing in war movies where guys have a picture of a woman in a locket.
Who would you put in your locket, Belton?
It's honestly, at this point, I just might put a picture of the Lincoln Center AMC.
It's Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then among the sailors before they go on the ship, just two sailors and racism. Literally, one's black, one's white. They get into a fight. And then they're thrown on the brig of the ship, which is kind of why are they there?
Yeah, they should have just left him on shore. Or it's a big fuck up. I don't know how you actually handle that, because you do kind of need him. Do you need him? They didn't seem like they were missing him.
They couldn't have needed them that much if they were just in the brig locked up the whole time.
Yeah, man, that was such a weird part of it.
I don't know.
Because they had him locked up all the way to Japan and back.
Yeah, because I mean, I could see if they were already on foreign soil, it's something like, okay, we got to get you home before we could really punish you. But they were in San Francisco and then they left.
Yeah. what was that, like a 3-week cruise?
It must have been something like
How
that.
long were, I wonder, maybe like 90 days in the brig?
I don't think it was that long. In my head, everything happened between June and July 1945.
All right, so only 2 months. I guess you could get like 3 months in the brig for fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the captain as well as the rest of the crew are given the top secret mission to transport crates over to Japan. They aren't told what they are, but after the bomb goes off, it's heavily implied they put it together that oh, that's what we were transporting.
It's also, they have this weird meeting where there's a guy just welding the bomb in the background. They like explicitly show you this little weird piece of cube and he's welding it and it's like a giant arc flame. And then they show it loading it onto the ship. So they're just like working on the detonator for a nuclear bomb in the command center.
Yeah, it's weird because you think they're having this top secret meeting. Why is this random welder there? Also, why would you try to have a meeting next to someone welding in general?
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I just had to throw that tidbit in. It was weird.
Yeah. So on their way back from delivering the atomic bomb, they're sunk by a Japanese submarine, leaving the survivors stranded on rafts in shark-infested waters. So many of them die from shark attacks. Many of them also get infections because of the injuries during the sinking, and some die from thirst and starvation. After 5 days, they're finally rescued when another plane spots them. And when they're rescued, basically, the military realizes they fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were sent without backup or support. They sent 3 distress signals, which were ignored for various reasons.
It was one guy was drunk, one guy was asleep, and then one guy thought it was a trap.
Yeah. And then when they didn't return to port on time, no one was alerted. They didn't send a search party out or anything. And realizing that their fuck up, the military decided to put the entire blame on Captain McVeigh. They held a trial, which, watching the trial, it appeared he's going to be found not guilty, especially considering in the trial, it includes testimony from Commander Hashimoto, who was the commander of the Japanese sub that sank them, which, I'll be honest, that's a moment watching the movie. When it happened, I was just like, there's no way this happened in real life, where they brought the Japanese commander into the trial to say that, yeah, this guy's innocent. But no, it actually happened.
Yeah, it happened. It honestly was that part's really interesting, but the whole trial was like a travesty.
Yeah, which I don't know how they got him. I guess when you win a war, you can have your enemies do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Captain McVeigh is found guilty of, essentially, they said he could have done more to prevent the ship from sinking. And then before the credits, it goes through the aftermath where McVeigh received a lot of hate for the rest of his life, since he was blamed for this until his suicide in 1968. And in 2000, he was finally exonerated by President Bill Clinton.
There's like a couple other things I want to share from that plot.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really like this story. There's also there's the hero of the sea and the air. So once they figured out the USS Indianapolis sank and that there's like 500 guys in the water, one of the planes came by and just pushed every single thing they could out of their plane in order to give them like medicine and food and stuff. And so that was the hero of the air. And then another guy who was flying a flying boat, he was ordered not to land because it was ruled as suicide to like land a flying or a marine aircraft onto open ocean. And he still did it, and he got everyone up out of the water, and he just ended up having to wait it out for like 12 hours to get rescued too. It was like the ultimate courageous move of being willing to end up in the exact same situation just to help people. And so, yeah, just wanted to mention those two.
Wow. Yeah. Because it is a very interesting real life story.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like nuts. All right, you want to get into the debate of the film?
Well, the production history.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so going to the production history, this was directed by Mario Van Peebles, who also directed films such as New Jack City and a lot of episodes of TV for shows such as Power, Empire, and Chicago PD. It was written by Cam Cannon and Richard Rianda del Castro, who don't have any other credits that would be recognizable, really. And again, it is based on the real story of the USS Indianapolis. So various members of the U.S. Navy acted as consultants and connected production with various survivors so they could interview them and get firsthand accounts. For shooting, whenever they were on the aircraft carrier, they used the USS Alabama in Mobile, and they were originally supposed to shoot on location in San Francisco and Tokyo, but they decided to use Mobile, Alabama for those locations instead.
I think they ran out of money. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of the vibe of this
movie. That's definitely what it feels like, because I can't imagine why else as a production you would say, hey, you know what we could do instead of San Francisco? Mobile, Alabama.
Although it didn't look terrible.
No, it didn't look bad. It also didn't have like real city shots, just shots of people next to buildings, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then they did that terrible CGI Golden Gate Bridge. That was awful. I think if they had just cut all that out, it would have been like a 25%. It's so jarring at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
You could have literally just done like black and white archival footage or something. Just anything but that.
Yeah. All right. Well, this movie, it didn't get a full theatrical release. It was released to iTunes and Amazon on October 14th, 2016. And it did get a limited release in theaters for Veterans Day that same year. So we don't know how much it was bought on iTunes and Amazon, but purely based on box office numbers, on a budget of $40 million, it made $1.6 million at the box office. It currently stands at a 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb and an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now it's time for our opening statements. Chris will be defending the film and I will be attacking.
Yes. USS Indianapolis is a great story led by strong acting, backed by great practical effects, wrapped in some of the worst CGI you'll ever see in your life. Look past the CGI and you have a solid movie that pays honor to its source material.
This movie tries so hard to honor brave men who lost their lives in a tragedy that it doesn't. What's a very interesting real life story has been watered down, pun intended, to a series of moments that occasionally connect. Okay, I'm going to start with the CGI because it's just distracting.
Yeah, it's really bad. I'm not even going to defend it for a second.
Yeah, because there are various sequences of this movie that are done very well. I thought the ship sinking was done well. A lot of the time spent on the water looked good. So when you have the CGI, especially considering it came out in 2016, when there was good CGI for a $40 million budget, it should have been better. And then it just looks like a PS2 cutscene.
Yeah, it's very jarring. I thought the submarine interior shots were really good too.
Yeah.
But that wasn't CGI. Their practical effects were great. But the CGI is all terrible.
Yeah, and the thing is, it looks so good that when it cuts to the CGI torpedoes and exterior of the submarine, it just instantly feels off.
And dude, those CGI shark attacks are we didn't not laugh at a single one. We just started laughing. It's jarring because you're in it and it's stressful and you're like watching this captain on a raft that isn't big enough. Like the paddle is like this big and he's like dipping over the water and moving off towards people he can't even see. And then it'll cut and someone will be like, "What's that in the water? A candy bar?" And he'll lean over and he'll be like, it's like very, it goes from a war movie to a sci-fi special.
Yeah, because the sharks didn't look great. I'm surprised they didn't use the Jaws method of like, okay, we're not gonna really show the sharks until the end. Because I do think they could have had the fins swimming around for a while and just an occasional shark attack. If someone suddenly goes under, you know what happened.
I think the sharks look best when they're overhead. Like the shots where they're swimming around between the boats and there's sharks all over look decent. But anytime you had the shark do something that a shark wouldn't do, I found it very frustrating.
Yeah. Well,
like sharks don't jump over the sides of things and rip people off of boats. They do in horror movies, but not in real life.
Yeah. Well, because when they're in the water, you have the excuse of like, oh yeah, you're looking through a water. It's going to be a bit distorted. So the CGI doesn't have to be, as pristine.
Yeah.
But when they jump out, especially because the timing of it just felt off tonally.
Yeah, it's like they had one horror writer in the room. Someone's like, "But the sharks are scary," and you're like, "Yeah, you have to do it like real life scary, not like a horror movie."
Yeah, and I think that also gets into another criticism I have. This movie felt like 3 movies in one that didn't fully connect thematically. Like it starts off as sort of a classic war movie going through some cliches. Then it's this shark survival movie, and then it's a courtroom drama. And the thing is, maybe if it had stronger character development instead of just trying to give us a bunch of characters, it would have flowed better. But it just felt like too big of shifts. And the thing is, there are like good ideas in each of those. I like at the end when Captain McVeigh is talking to Commander Hiroshima. Let me say his name correct.
Hashimoto? No. Okay, this is both bad on us.
Yeah. All right. So towards the end, when Captain McVeigh had that conversation with Commander Hashimoto.
Oh, I got it right.
But they were they basically had a conversation where they came to an understanding of, both of our jobs were supposed to kill each other, but as men, we both have regrets on the mass death that we're responsible for. And I think that's an interesting theme to explore. I wish they had like touched on that earlier in the film to build up to that moment.
Yeah, I think it's like a good way of framing just the perspective that people have both in the beginning of events, in the middle of them, and then at the very end. Like, I think that's a pretty common war thing, is to not really consider what you're doing until you're in the courtroom or you're talking to someone from the other side. So I think that I get what you're saying with the 3 movies, but I thought it was a nice moment. I think it kind of grounded everything in a very human place.
I mean, I agree. It was a nice moment, but if we're going to talk about like morals in war, not thinking about what you're doing, there is that one officer who, while they're straight on rafts, is just an absolute dick to everyone, pointing a gun.
Yeah.
And it's saying like, oh, don't get in the raft unless you're an officer or injured. Meanwhile, he has an entire raft to himself and people are still just sitting on driftwood.
It's very accurate. That's a common shitty, what do you call it? shitty CO behavior.
Yeah, but I wanted some comeuppance, and honestly, I don't even know if he got it because it's so hard to tell all these people apart.
He paddles off, and then 3 guys come back, and they're like, they were eaten by sharks.
I actually don't remember that.
Remember, that was when the chaplain died, around the point that the chaplain died.
Okay.
It was when the sharks started knocking people out of the boats.
Again, so many of the actors and characters look so similar that could have happened. I just didn't realize it was him.
think that's like a common issue in war movies, though. Like when I watch Band of Brothers, I could name 3 characters at any given point. And then the rest, I'd be like, I don't know who that is. And then I keep mixing them up with other people. And I know that show has great character development, but like they're all in uniforms. If it's shot realistically, it's dark. They're covered in dirt. I just like have a hard, unless they're an actor from a different show. Like I was like, oh, that's Charlie from Fringe. And then like, I think it's easy to just kind of lose everybody in the masses of uniforms.
Yeah, but I mean, there are movies. I'm trying to think of other war movies with like a big cast. I'm just thinking of Saving Private Ryan, but I know that's a bad example since most of the cast are recognizable faces already.
What about like Platoon?
I haven't seen Platoon. I mean, I'm about to say 1917, but it's mainly focused on 2 guys. But even those 2 guys, they had, you know, distinctly different faces, distinctly different body types. They spoke differently. There was a one scene of the 2 guys in the love triangle. If one didn't have a distinct Italian American accent, I would not have been able to tell them
Yeah,
apart.
they needed to not have those 2 people look exactly the same. Like, I get that. It was kind of like I was having that happen when I watched The Eternals. There are 2 characters in The Eternals, and I was just, or wait, no. There's one character in The Eternals that looked exactly like Bucky. And I was like, why is Bucky a member of the Eternals?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, it's the friggin' Eternal. What? Like, what's going on in Marvel?
Yeah, no, not only does he look like Bucky, he also looks like a bit like Kit Harington, who's also in the Eternals.
Wait, Kit Harington's in the Eternals?
Yeah, he's the boyfriend of Gemma Chan.
Belton. I don't know a name from that movie. I don't know. I know that there was a blind woman, and I know that Kumali, is that his name?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, I know that he put on a lot of muscle.
Yeah, he's just permanently jacked for a box office flop.
Yeah, and they didn't even take his shirt off. Just like muscle forms. Why are you working out so much? Yeah, I thought the practical effects were great. I thought it was very courageous to show that suicide at the end. Like to literally have him pull the gun up to his head on camera. I thought that was like a good way of not trying to cover up the fact that the US government essentially murdered him.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree because I think that's something like that definitely wraps up this the story and like completes the arc of, you know, the government is going over which I feel like with Captain McVeigh we just don't really learn about him, and I would have liked to know him as a person more.
That's fair.
While I do think a lot of movies about World War II made by Hollywood is somewhat military propaganda, in the end, you know how a lot of people say, oh, I don't support the war, but I support the troops. The end of this movie is just like, oh, the military supports the war, but not the troops.
Yeah. That's how you can tell it's a good war movie, because they're being honest. But yeah, and then it's just like he commits suicide, and then they just put his picture up on the wall. In the end, they were putting up pictures of all the people who were lost during the sinking. And so he's at one of the meetings and then he commits suicide. And then they put his picture up on there. And it's just like a good illustration of, even though he's alive, he was still a victim of the whole situation. And the fact that no one will ever escape that.
Yeah. And I think that that's also what I'm getting to when I say it feels like 3 different movies, because like all those themes do not come up until the courtroom drama section.
Yeah.
Because like I also think when they're stranded at sea, there really isn't character development. No one's like worldview is being pushed back against.
Those prisoners were the face of racial harmony belt. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you a ton.
Yeah, because it's like. So it's something where when a movie deals heavily with racism, you can always tell it's from a white person when they handle racism on this real individual level.
Yeah.
Like, because with the racism, it was just one black sailor versus one white sailor. And it's like, oh, things are over because you know the black sailor tried to make sure he survived, and like they survived, so it was like, all right, we don't hate each other anymore. Mind you, at the very beginning, back on land, the white guy had no problems rounding up other white people who just wanted to beat up a black person.
Yeah.
And beat up is putting it lightly. They were going to do worse things.
Yeah, they were gonna jump him and murder him.
Yeah.
Keep going with what you were saying. Sorry to distract that with that comment.
Honestly, I have that in my notes. It's like their framing of racism sucks. I don't know the whole like, oh, racism is older. It's like racism still existed throughout the entire course of this thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was the 40s.
It was the 40s. I mean, Captain McVeigh didn't commit suicide until the 60s.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize, I thought all military service was segregated at that point.
I don't know about all. I'm also not an expert on military.
Yeah, neither am I.
Yeah, because I know like during World War II, there were the Tuskegee Airmen. But they also made a point that a lot of the black people on the ship were more service workers, like working the mess hall, something like that.
Also, that scene with the guy with the pigeon where he just walks in and punches the person. I didn't understand what was going on in that scene. I was like, this is like crazy behavior.
My main thing is, if it had fewer main characters and just really went in and brought depth to them, like this would be a better movie.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like watching this movie, you can feel the passion behind the people making it, and I mean that in a complimentary way. I don't mean that in a, oh yeah, you could watch Gotti and feel John Travolta thinks he's gonna win an Oscar, and I think but I think because they had so much passion, they wanted to showcase like as many people as possible, but that led to the detriment of the overall film.
I think what they're going for was like you being in there with them. So if you were like one soldier on that boat, you'd know probably like 75 people, and they would have been spread out to different points. And it's supposed to like give you that immersive quality. But it did hurt the movie overall.
Yeah.
But I think that was the intent, was to like give you a little bit of everyone, and you were supposed to feel like you were trapped in the water too.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, but I think there's a way to do that better. Like they could have done like just like I don't know how many stories they did, but they could have done like 3 or 4 stories, and then they come together in the water. But they don't really come together in the water.
No.
They only come together like at the trial, where it's just all the men being like, "We gotta support the captain."
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if anyone just floated off.
Probably.
Yeah, there are probably a couple of people who just floated off.
I mean, there are definitely a lot of people who just died of, infection and starvation.
Yeah.
Because also, like, from what I read, there are a lot of people who just ingested too much salt water.
Who would you? Well, that's what happened to the guy who tried to paddle off to the other island. He was just going mad. That was the dickhead.
No, yeah.
Who would you have focused on? Like, obviously Captain McVeigh, but who would be your picks of characters?
I would say Captain McVeigh. The chaplain. The chaplain's the guy who lost one of his legs when the ship sank, right?
Yeah, no, he was the guy. He got in trouble for drinking. He was the priest.
Oh, okay.
He was the guy swimming around. I don't know.
Oh yeah, like blessing people.
Yeah, I don't know if he lost his leg at that point.
Okay, no, because I do remember there was that one guy who lost his leg, and like a young black guy that was with him. I would have kept them. The 2 guys in the love triangle, and then I would also keep that officer just ready to shoot everyone. But I would give him a more distinct comeuppance, because honestly, like watching them, I was just like, they should just drown him.
Yeah. Guess you don't want to waste the energy. He should have been the first boat flipped.
Yeah, like something like, oh yeah, he was swallowed up by a shark, and it's just like, oh, thank God no one else was in his raft.
Like he's being an extra dick. Like someone's like, I'm drowning. And he's like, this is the officer's raft. And then the shark like knocks him over, and the raft lands right next to the guy. And you're like, oh yeah.
He's like, this is my raft now.
He's like, I guess I'm an officer. All right. You want to get to 3 things?
Yeah. All right. Now it's time for our concessions. This is where I give 3 things I liked about the film, and Chris gives 3 things she didn't. First thing I have, again, it was clearly made by people who are passionate about the true story and really wanted to do it justice, which is hard because it's a tragic story on multiple fronts.
Yeah. The CGI sharks were terrible, and I laughed at every single shark attack, or most of them. Anytime the shark breached, it was bad.
Yeah.
The shot with Nic Cage when he falls in the water and the great white shark is behind him is an interesting. Didn't look terrible, but all the other shark attacks were bad.
Yeah, because I actually like that shot that like the shark just swam by him, gently nudged him. It gave a sense of like, oh yeah, this is coming. That actually helped build suspense to me.
Yeah.
All right. My next concession. There were a lot of good individual moments. Like I mentioned, the scene of the ship sinking was done really well. It was clearly inspired a lot by Titanic, but that a lot of the scenes in the Japanese submarine were done well, and then like small character moments, like the guys in the love triangle when one of them comes back, and at the end when they unite for Captain McVeigh.
I really like Theodore reading to the guy who lost his leg.
Yeah,
and that was a fun moment where they just keep shooting him up with morphine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was one thing I think we were both wondering, because there's this guy like throughout the while they're stranded, he keeps writing it in his notebook, and we're both like, how is his notebook not soaking wet by now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's more of a nitpicky thing. That's not an actual criticism.
All of the CGI looked bad. If it wasn't an overhead shark, the CGI looked bad. It was the This movie without CGI is a 7.5 out of 10. It's just so distracting.
Yeah, it is.
It goes from war movie to Sharknado.
Yeah,
in a second.
Yeah, because I especially think about with the Japanese missiles. I feel like they could have gotten away without those shots. You just had to, have the Japanese commander say fire, and then a couple seconds later, there's a boom when it hits the ship.
You could have had like jet skis rip across the surface and then edit them out. It would have looked dumb, but it would have been better than the CGI.
Yeah. All right. My final concession. Was to get a bit redundant. Action scenes were shot very well.
Yeah.
The ship sinking. And honestly, a lot of the shark attacks when you don't see the shark.
Yeah. When they're just ripped off or when they go flying off the raft.
Yeah. Because when we don't see the full shark, I do feel like you get kind of that Jaws feeling where it's scarier because you don't see the monster.
All right. Too many characters, too little development.
Yeah.
No, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
All right. Time for our closing statement.
Time for our closing statements. It's rare we come across a passion project with so much clear passion for the story that it gets in the way of the craft. What is a compelling story becomes disconnected narrative, which is disappointing since Hollywood's running out of World War II stories to adapt. I give this movie one huge court-martial to cover my own ass.
USS Indianapolis is a solid film with some flaws, but overall, it does a decent job, and I enjoyed watching it. I give it 334 men out of the water out of 774 men in the water. Okay, damn it. I thought that was so good. I thought of that during the middle of this podcast. Now I was like, oh, I should do it as Robert Shaw. And I was like, I give it 300. I can't do Robert Shaw.
Yeah, for those who don't know, if you watch Jaws, Robert Shaw gives us a story of this true story, basically saying he was there.
Yeah. He's like, I was on there. 774 men go in the drink. Sharks, or 334 men come out. You know what happened to them? Sharks took every last man. All right.
which also I have to say, this is our 6th movie we've done on the podcast that takes place on water.
Yep. And we'll keep them coming because there's a lot of bad stories on water.
Yeah. What's crazy is we've gone like over a year since the last one.
At some point, we are going to do one of the post-trilogy Pirates of the Caribbean. And did we do Speed 2?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That was one of our first ones.
I think that was like our first anniversary one.
Yep.
I think so. Somewhere between like Jaws: The Revenge and Speed 2, I was like writing intros and being like, "Oh my god, I already used this." Yeah, but for real, at this point, if Hollywood comes up with another World War II movie, like it should need like voter approval.
I want a World War II movie about lesbians working in the factories while their husbands leave.
Honestly, that would be more interesting. I guess that's the thing. No more World War II movies about straight white men.
Until you can do a feminist World War II movie about the women who worked in factories and then the struggles they had when all the men came back from war and they were unemployed, you can't do one with a single gunshot.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure either just came out in theaters or is about to come out, Pressure, which is about 2 guys looking at the weather for D-Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That one seems interesting. That's interesting. That's like, it's new at least.
It's them running out of World War II stories. Again, like if you're going at this point, if you're going to make a World War II movie, don't make it about straight white men.
You know what you need? There needs to be more Korean War movies. No one gives a shit about that war. Or Desert Storm. Like, give me a good Desert Storm movie. Just the one war where America just went in and did everything what they intended and then left. And it didn't go on. They're just like, oh, yep, the Iraqis are out of Kuwait and we're leaving. Are you checking if that's correct? It is. It's why Dick Cheney got George W. Bush to invade Iraq.
I just wanted to make sure I was thinking of the right thing before I commented on it. Oh yeah, my thing with World War II movies, I believe Hollywood loves making them because it's the last war America was in where America was definitively on the right side.
Yeah,
America still did bad things, but you know, we should be in agreement that the Nazis were bad.
Yeah. I guess like Civil War II for one half. One half of the Civil War was fought for good reason. Like, we shouldn't even count the Confederates. I don't know. Yeah, that's dangerous. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm sure I'm not saying there wouldn't be an interesting Civil War movie. I'm just saying there's still a significant part of the country that flies the Confederate flag.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I take it back. I stepped into bounds I probably should have just kept out of. The Revolutionary War.
Yeah, there's definitely movies about that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm actually surprised there aren't more of those.
There should be more War of 1812 movies. The Spanish War. Okay, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, Belton. I'm just naming wars at this point.
All right, maybe we should close it out.
Yeah, let's close it.
Yeah, before we give someone an idea.
Before we get into let's finish this.
All right, this has been another episode of Film versus Movie. I'm Belton Delane Facey.
My name's Chris Schur.
And remember to give us 5 stars and follow us wherever you listen. We will see you all next time.